If you're like me, you've grasped some of the benefits that mindfulness meditation has to offer. So less fear, less sadness, less anger. This is all amazing, but in the past 2 years from practicing mindfulness in my own experience, what I've found is that while it is an alleviator of stresses, it's actually more deeply a pragmatic tool that we can use to realize some real truths about the nature of our own mind. So we can cut through the illusion of self that causes so much suffering in our lives. We can uproot a lot of unskillful patterns that cause suffering in our lives. And more so than that, we can see things a lot more clearly with a lot more objectivity when we practice mindfulness in the way that it was originally intended, not just as a gimmicky alleviator of stresses. So I'd like to read an excerpt from a book called Bangkok Tattoo. This is one of my favorite passages that really outlines the power of mindfulness meditation. You see, dear reader, speaking frankly without any intention to offend. You are a ramshackle collection of coincidences held together by a desperate and irrational clinging. There is no center at all. Everything depends on everything else. Your body depends on the environment. Your thoughts depend on whatever junk floats in from the media. Your emotions are largely from the reptilian end of your DNA. Your intellect is a chemical computer that can't add up a zillionth as fast as a pocket calculator. And even your best side is a superficial piece of social programming that will fall apart just as soon as your spouse leaves with the kids and the money in the joint account, or the economy starts to fail and you get the sack, or you get conscripted into some idiot's war. Or they give you the news about your brain tumor. To name this amorphous morass of self-pity, vanity, and despair self is not only the height of hubris, it is also proof, if any were needed, that we are above all a delusional species. We are in a trance from birth to death. Prick the balloon and what do you get? Emptiness. Take 2 steps in the divine art of Buddhist meditation and you'll find yourself on a planet you no longer recognize. Those needs and fears you thought were the very bones of your being turn out to be no more than bugs in your software. So what I've found as I've started practicing mindfulness meditation more deeply and involving myself more intensely with the teachings, I found it can be a bit confusing. Even though it's very simple to understand intellectually, experientially, actually putting these things into practice is a whole different ballgame. For example, I've found myself slipping into fear and anger patterns. Even though I'm trying to be mindful, sometimes the forces of these things are so overwhelming that I slip back into them and I forget to be mindful in those situations. I also find myself getting a bit overwhelmed with the amount of information out there on the different schools of meditation. So we have Dzogchen, Vipassana, Transcendental meditation, it goes on and on. In fact, I believe there's over 30 different types of Vipassana meditation. So it's like, which one do I pick? Which one do I choose? It can be a bit overwhelming and making things more complicated as well when following the Buddhist framework of teachings. You have things like the 4 Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path, the 7 Factors of Enlightenment. So again, it's a bit overwhelming and a little bit tricky to follow sometimes. Therefore, this channel is my best effort at addressing this. It's a channel that I wish existed when I was looking to more deeply invest myself into the practice of mindfulness. So high quality, educational mindfulness and growth-based video with an emphasis on practicality, on really implementing these teachings, really actualizing them to live more compassionate and integral lives. So it's my current belief that mindfulness is best practiced through the lens of what Buddhism teaches. The way I see Buddhism is essentially a set of values from how to get to a life of misery to a life of happiness. I intend to do comprehensive video breakdowns of things such as the Satipatthana Sutta and make the videos as concise and presentable as possible so that they can readily be implemented into your life. Now, I'm also going to be drawing upon the wisdom of great teachers such as Joseph Goldstein, who, mind you, is one of the huge inspirations for making this channel because I love how he takes a practical approach to implementing mindfulness. And I want to break this down in a concise and presentable way as possible to skyrocket my own and your meditation practice. So it's probably worth giving a bit of context as to who I am as a person so you can better understand where I'm coming from when making these videos. So I'm a 23-year-old biomedical science graduate with a massive background of Western skepticism, I would say. If I heard the words spirituality or meditation 2 years ago, I probably would have coiled up and retracted into a little ball and get it away from me sort of thing. But coupled with the strong emotional upset, anxiety I was feeling at the time, and from hearing from influencers that have had a big impact on me, like Sam Harris.
Having focus and having your mind in the present moment is a little bit of a superpower that actually undervalues what mindfulness really is and its true potential. It's more like the Large Hadron Collider in that it's a real tool for making some fundamental discoveries about the nature of the mind.
Tim Ferriss.
The most common pattern that I've seen after interviewing hundreds, 300, 400, 500 world-class performers at this point is that at least 80% have some type of mindfulness or meditation practice.
And Dan Harris.
I believe that meditation and mindfulness are the next big public health revolution. In the 1940s, if you told somebody you were going running, they would have said, "Who's chasing you?" But then what happened next? The scientists swooped in, they showed that physical exercise is really good for you, and now all of us do it, and if we don't, we feel guilty about it. And that's where I think we're headed with mindfulness and meditation. It's going to join the pantheon of no-brainers like brushing your teeth, eating well, and taking the meds your doctor prescribed for you.
I really opened up to want to try meditation. First used apps like Sam Harris's Waking Up and Headspace. So having finally received some sort of benefit from anxiety that I'd been experiencing very strongly in my life, albeit small amounts of relief limited to meditation sits, I started practicing mindfulness very consistently daily. So about 2 years down from there, I now have a very committed mindfulness-based practice of about an hour and a half of meditation a day using Vipassana style meditation, having sit 2 10-day silent meditation retreats with the aspiration of sitting my third later this year in July. So I've also listened to and read hundreds of hours of content on implementing mindfulness into my life with an emphasis on really actually implementing the teachings, not just listening and then forgetting about what I'd heard, reflecting, actively recalling and implementing to really try and receive benefit from these teachings. So the aim of me telling you this is not for any conceit or, whoa, look at him, he's so deep in meditation, how cool. But it's more so to allow you to understand where I'm coming from when making these videos. So if you trust me, when I make these videos, they're not just for your benefit, but they're also for my benefit. So it's in my best interest to research these concepts as deeply as I can and present them in concise, presentable video for you that I wish existed when I was getting invested in the teachings. So this channel is for those who want to understand mindfulness more deeply intellectually and experientially to better their lives. It's for those who want to gain more insight into their own nature so they can better serve themselves and others. It's also for those who value authenticity, connection, growth, self-discovery, and compassion. I also have ideas on implementing mindfulness-based challenges to help propel our mindfulness practice, and also to document my own journey and make personal growth related videos as well. But the primary focus will definitely be on mindfulness implementation into our lives. If this is you, please feel free to subscribe. I'm certain you'll get a lot of value out of this channel. And until next time, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.